introduced something called a teeny weeny mini meal, and for $8 you get a bite-sized burger and fries paired with a miniature beer, margarita, or wine. And something you didn't necessarily mention is perhaps why these restaurants are offering lighter portions, and that is GLP-1s. The guy who owns Clinton Hall said that everyone he knew was on GLP-1s like Ozempic or Wegovy, and so that is another reason why he said, well, we need just to make our portions smaller because my friends who are on this aren't eating as much, and 8 to 10% of Americans are now taking GLP-1s according to a survey from PricewaterhouseCoopers back in October 2024. So there's a lot of different trends influencing restaurant menus here, and it just seems so, distinctly un-American to order something a little bit smaller at places like Olive Garden and Cheesecake Factory, which are just known for their size and scale of their breadth of menu as well as their portions. But it looks like this is just a sign of the times.
Yeah, Darden CEO, which owns Olive Garden, said that maybe our customers evolved that you don't need to have uneaten food on their plate to feel like you've gotten good value. It basically is when you have a clean plate, you actually do feel like you paid what you were hungry for. Not necessarily, you don't need an eggplant parmesan that is sprawling and covering the entire plate right now. So maybe it's less about abundance, which again, it feels almost anti-American to say. It's more about fill and the satisfaction. If you feel like you've eaten your fill, then that is something that you will leave happy from the restaurant. Also, these restaurants, whether they like it or not, are competing on value now with fast food chains, with quick serve restaurants like Chipotle, etc. And so even if you have, much larger portion sizes, really what customers want is value. And so when you're competing with McDonald's, obviously a $10 meal makes more sense than a $25 meal. So fascinating how this has just become the de facto norm. Like every big sit-down chain that you used to go to with just overwhelming portion sizes, now you can also find a subsection of the menu saying like, hey, if you want something a little lighter, this is the section for you.
They have a word for that, and that is called the kids menu. And there's a survey by Lightspeed Commerce published back in August that found that 44% of U.S. adults are ordering from kids menus, citing lower prices and portions that are more satisfactory to what they want. But here's my question. Should adults be able to order from the kids menu?
No, probably not. I mean, I think that the restaurants have figured this out, though, and called it the bite portion of the menu and don't call it the kids menu. The final thing that we didn't necessarily touch on is people are eating alone a lot more. This has been a trend that we have spoken about on this show in the past. And so when you sit down alone at a restaurant, you don't want a family-style meal just for yourself. You want, like, the smaller portion sizes. So just fascinating how all these different trends feed into this one mega trend of portions getting a little bit smaller.
I think a lot of people would say this is probably progress for Americans to not just stuff ourselves with food all the time and leave a lot of waste. Okay, it's Monday, so here's what you need to know to stay ahead in the week ahead. Hope your bench is informed because the new Supreme Court term starts today, as it always does, on the first Monday in October. Over the next few months, the 9 justices will consider several disputes centered on President Trump's power over the economy. Circle your calendar for November 5th, when SCOTUS will hear a case on the legality of reciprocal tariffs, and January, when they'll weigh if Trump can fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook.
Yeah, a big showdown here. A lot of Trump's big ticket, constitutional issues are up on the docket this time. So some of these policy initiatives are just going to come to a head. We're going to see if, the tariffs can stay. We're going to see if Lisa Cook is on her way out or not. So it seems like a lot of the bedrock of Trump's economic nationalism is up for debate right now. We'll see how it all shakes out.
Tomorrow is the 2-year anniversary of October 7th, and the Israel-Hamas war is closer to ending than at any point since that date. Today, the two sides will begin mediated negotiations in Egypt after Israel accepted and Hamas partially endorsed President Trump's 20-point plan to wrap up the war, which includes a swap of all of the Israeli hostages in Gaza for Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner are traveling to Egypt to take part in the talks. As for economic data releases, there won't be much because the government is still shut down and all reports are on hold. Instead, investors will try to hunt for clues about the economy in the Fed Minutes released on Wednesday, the University of Michigan Consumer Survey on Friday, and a fresh earnings season. Pepsi, Delta, and Levi's are the big names to report this week, while the big banks get going the week after.
I think it's funny. We're fighting over scraps here. We're looking at Fed Minutes in University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Surveys and Levi's to try to piece together a piecemeal approach to the jobs report, the thinking man jobs report, if you will. Levi's, Pepsi's, and Fed Minutes.
Over in sports, MLB's divisional playoff series are underway. In the National League, League, the Cubs are down 1 game to the Brewers, and the Phillies are down 1 to the Dodgers. In the American League, the Blue Jays are thumping the Yankees, and the Tigers and Mariners are all square. Meanwhile, the WNBA Finals rolls on in the Sun Belt Series. The Las Vegas Aces have a 2-0 series lead on the Phoenix Mercury. And finally, the NHL regular season begins tomorrow night for all you hockey fans.
I just want to talk about my baseball fandom for a little bit because not really a baseball fan, but I did go to the Yankees-Red Sox game, and I rooted for the Yankees, mostly because I have some friends, including you, who are Red Sox fans, and I just like to be different. And it turned out well in that series, but then the moment I became a Yankees fan, they have just gotten the doors blown off them by the Blue Jays. So I am a jinx. I will admit it. If you want your team to, or if you want your opponent to lose, feed them me, send me an email saying which team you want me to root for. I will root for them, and they will lose going forward. So the reverse Toby jinx is bad.
That is all the time we have. Thanks so much for starting your morning with us, and have a wonderful Monday.
Great show today, Neil. Let's run it back tomorrow.
여보세요? 어디 안 갔는데? 아니, 왜? 주차 왜 있는데? 난 매장인데. 배달 갖고 왔냐고? 차키 동아야. 거기 차키도 있어. 그래. 차키 갖고 왔어. 매장에 살짝 있어. 아이고, 새로 왔네. 방송하고 싶기도 하고. 알았지. 진짜 저녁때 매장에 가보자. 내일이면 내일은. 알았다, 필요 없어. 알았다, 필요한데 자라.
Stay tuned for a special free offer from Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight gives you a super bright light visible at a distance of over 2,000 meters. With 7 useful modes, plus a USB rechargeable battery, the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen and order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force Tactical Flashlight absolutely free. Hurry, this is a limited time code on your screen to order now. We all love recipes with garlic, but trying to use an awkward garlic press makes a smelly mess. Introducing the Great Garlic, your ultimate kitchen companion for effortlessly crushing garlic to perfection. Just place a peeled clove of garlic under the grate, rock it back and forth, and say goodbye to tedious chopping and messy mincing. The Great Garlic ensures consistent results every time. Scan the code on your screen to order your Great Garlic today. This is a limited time offer, so scan now and find out for yourself how great the Great Garlic is.
Scan the code on your screen now and see why the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight has everyone talking. Definitely 10 out of 10. More powerful than I expected. Absolutely brilliant. I've got 3 more in my basket to get. Awesome. Excellent. The best flashlight ever bought. Hurry, this is a limited time TV offer. Scan the code on your screen now and get your Flash Force Tactical Flashlight today.
Hello and welcome to Morning Brief Market Sunrise. I'm Ramzan Karamali, live from Yahoo Finance's studios in London. It's Monday, 6th October. Coming up on the show, the federal shutdown enters another week, but equities look poised to build on their recent strong run. France's Prime Minister resigns after less than a month in the post. French stocks plunge. And gold hits another record high. So grab your coffee and let's own the morning. Well, the first thing you need to know is that the government shutdown has entered another week. Over the weekend, White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett said that layoffs for federal government employees will begin if President Donald Trump decides that negotiations to end the government shutdown